Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz. It is December 9, 2018, and I'm sorry, distracted, 10:36 p.m. What I want to do is the blog I did last night about the good and evil taking sides. Let me explain that, and I'm sure most of you probably know, but there aren't many people talking about it, and I think there should be a lot of people talking about it. The unrest that we have ongoing in all over Europe, you see that. And I said it was because they raised gas. Well, it's because of a lot of things, but specifically not gasoline. It was just them being herded into a place that we today are trying to escape from. And like I said, Hillary Clinton would have already had us under Agenda 21. It would have been implemented and sliced and diced, and our country would have been given away. God gave us a reprieve, and He brought Trump up for this day, this time. Our country is still fighting, though, internally, and it is the liberal that's keeping everything stirred up all the time. So I think this is today here in our country, throughout Europe, and not only there, you got many other countries with the same problems going on, but the 57 Muslim countries, they take these people and kill them when they do that. So they'll end up being under Islam anyway. But let me make the point, or go ahead and get to the point. If this is truly happening, if people are today moving to one side or another, do you want to live under a socialist agenda that's really pounding at the doors right now in our country, even though Trump is here? You want to move in that direction, or do you want to move to the way of freedom and capitalist society? And Trump is capitalist. And just today, more of the restrictions on building coal mines or digging coal mines have been lifted, so that many more mines will start being built. That happened today. And you better bet there's going to be dozens and dozens of permits being signed here in the next few days to give them the right to go ahead and get started on it. So that's good. Trump is doing all the right things for our nation, while the other nations are falling apart. Look at China. Every person in China now has been ID'd. Although they don't have a mark in their hand or in their forehead, their pictures are already captured, and their pictures are being identified every day. And if you have some people, if they jaywalk, they get an extra number of points. If they break in line somewhere, I'm just bringing hypothetical situations, they'll get so many points. Well, if they end up with 9 points, then they may not be able to take a trip out of the country, or they may not be able to get a better apartment, inner city apartment. They may not be able to get a better job. They may have to ride their bicycle to work rather than ride the train. They may not be able to take vacations. China, they're restricting their people today on all those things just that I mentioned, because they do little things that break the law, like they're driving down the street, the light turns yellow, and they have time to stop, but they don't, and they proceed. Although they're under it when it turns green, they get a point, and that point goes against them, and it will prevent them from doing a luxury or something down the road. Okay, let's move into the 1,000-year millennium. Just say we get there, say the 7-year tribulation starts in a year. 7 years later, we move into the millennium. At the end of the 1,000 years, why do you think God released Satan out of his hell for a little season? Why do you think God would allow Satan to come back up and then once again go after people and try to destroy people? It's simple. Everyone that moved into the millennium from the 7 years that were saved, they're saved. They moved in, and they'll be bearing children for that 1,000 years or that time. Their offspring and their offspring and their offspring. And there's going to be a great number of people on this planet. That's okay. This planet can handle any number of people that God chooses to put here. 200 billion, 300 billion, whatever. The point is, at the end of that time, there'll be another selection process. There'll be another division. There'll be a lot of people over that time that did not accept Christ during that 1,000 years, although they were living in a complete peace. And sickness was just rare at that time. At the end of the millennium, there'll be no sickness. There'll be no deaths. But yet people still did not accept Christ during that entire 1,000 years, to the tune of billions. When Satan is released at the end of that 1,000 years for a little season, it's like God is standing here and looking over here at the billions of people and looking here at Satan and his little army. Anybody want to make some changes here? You're going to have a great number of people that had not been saved during that 1,000 years will move to the side of Satan. When everybody has made their move and in place, there'll not be a battle. There'll not be a war. But they don't know that. When everybody's in their place and made their decision, then it ends. God ends it. And then begins the great white throne judgment. So that's why the 1,000-year millennium, for all those who didn't accept Christ, they'll have to choose sides and have another chance. I mean, they get, 1,000 years, they get 1,000 years worth of days and chances, but at the end of that time, more than came through the millennium by tenfold or 100-fold will move back to the side of Satan. I say if there's 30 billion people on this planet, I say 20 billion will move to Satan. Why did two-thirds or a third of the angels fall from heaven? Seemed like everything's divided up in thirds. And anyway, I wanted to get that point across and try to fill in the blanks of the blog I did last night. Jody Wolf Expoz.